Hello, and welcome to our presentation, where we break down the conspiracy of 5G technology causing the effects of the coronavirus disease of 2019. In this presentation, we will be discussing the origins of how this conspiracy came to be, the psychology of conspiracy theories, and the information environment of the theory, how individuals collect, process, and act on this information.
As previously stated, we will begin by discussing what this conspiracy theory is and how this theory itself became viral and spread across the world. The 5G COVID conspiracy is based off the belief that newly launched 5G networks are the cause of COVID-19 pandemic, and/or are at the very least a strategically designed tool for expediting the infection rates across the globe. It did not take long for this theory to become debunked, as the National Health Service was quick to respond with studies showing that these frequencies have no such effect on the body. However, these statements did not terminate these beliefs, and would only increase the hostility amongst some believers. This hostility has led to physical attacks against 5G-related property, predominantly in the UK. The sad reality of this increased hostility amongst conspiracy theorists towards 5G was perfectly showcased by the National Health Service Director Stephen Powis' statement that 5G networks are vital for the general population at home and that this infrastructure is needed to tackle this emergency. On account of pure conspiracy coincidence, the COVID-19 pandemic began its outbreak during the same time telecommunications companies began to launch their 5G mobile networks. Conspiracy linking the emergence of COVID-19 to the launching of 5G networks dates back to the first week of 2020 and has consistently infected conspiracy pages and theorists since. A study published in TheJournal of Medical Internet Research has found that Twitter cluster backed by a few lone accounts were responsible for up to 303 tweets regarding this specific conspiracy, all accompanied by similar hashtags so as to gain notoriety. Some additional accounts that served to increase the spread were created with a lone objective to raise awareness about this conspiracy and to gain support for action against such ill-supported beliefs. Interestingly enough, humorous sharing or satirical renditions of this theory utilizing those very same hashtags only furthered the reach of the original conspiracy. As a result, the population of those who believed in this conspiracy increased. Once this conspiracy reached mainstream alternative news sources such as InfoWars, the spread appeared beyond containment.
Conspiracy theories tend to flourish in times of uncertainty due to existential threats or crisis and can be compounded by psychological factors such as fear and powerlessness. Bias work together with increasing political and effective polarization to further the spread of the theory and deflect scientific information. Distrust of scientific authority and spread of false information can also contribute to the spread and continuation of these theories. In-group bias occurs when members of a group, in this case partisan groups, lead individuals to believe particular ideas that are perceived to be logical by their group. When attempts are made by those outside of the group to go against this logic, members of the in-group begin to feel that their beliefs are being threatened and can cause them to act out in a hostile or aggressive way. This combines with confirmation bias in order to support the individual's beliefs and further their way of thinking. Increasing political polarization has created a divide where the majority of Republicans no longer believe that scientific information is factual. Due to there being a clear partisan divide, there seems to be little consensus in terms of what information is accepted as true. Those that believe conspiracies are less likely to accept scientific information as true, since this goes against their beliefs, and their mistrust is further fueled by an increase in polarization. In this case, the in-group is made up of Republicans who do not trust democratic governmental authority. They believe the pandemic has been an elaborate political scheme that the opposing parties made up to push forth their agenda. In the US, the upcoming election could have led to the spread of this theory due to political insecurity. To the in-group, this seems to be a threat to their distinctiveness as a group in terms of winners. In terms of the type of threat, however, there are two main types, symbolic and realistic threats. Symbolic threats are those that are perceived threats to social identity, whereas realistic threats stem from prejudice that is rooted in concerns over threats to resources. Republicans are becoming uneasy at the prospect of their candidate possibly losing the election, and the whole group feels that they're losing control. Increased campaign rhetoric has also inflamed partisan emotion and ideology, which has contributed to anxiety around the possibility of losing the election and no longer being the winner.
Another significant component of the psychological aspect of the conspiracy theory is the influence of denialism. Denialism can be defined as a psychological disposition to distrust and reject expert information or accounts of major events from authority figures such as scientists. In this case, individuals do not believe that wireless waves from 5G towers are harmless, after scientists and health authorities have said otherwise, even after these authorities have provided volumes of information showing that this is in fact the truth. In fact, if individuals lack interpersonal trust, they are even more likely to believe conspiracy theories. Another contributing aspect is the novelty of the conspiracy theory itself. The idea that 5G could cause serious illness is almost like a science fiction premise. The shock value itself contributes to its spread. The novelty of false news provokes surprise and strong emotional reactions such as fear and disgust, compared to true news which evokes less reactive responses. Those receiving new information also tend to spread false information faster and farther than true information, which contributes to the spread and staying power of the conspiracy theory. The faster spread of novel news combined with the denialism and distrust of scientific authority leads to the faster spread of the conspiracy and more distrust and hostility towards those working to debunk the theory, scientists, and those in authority.
Moving on to the information environment, we will first be discussing the physical environment, such as the region and local communities, and how they effectively spread these conspiracies and reinforce these opinions. Social desirability bias is when a person responds in a manner that will be viewed as favorable to others around them. In this case, a person might say that they believe in the conspiracy and claim that it is true because the group around them finds that acceptable. This, paired with opinion polarization, can lead to extreme views on the subject, believing it regardless of any factual evidence presented. Banisch and Olbrich proposed and tested that support for a favorable opinion can lead to positive feedback, reinforcing the opinion and the value that it holds. This acts as a loop, increasing favor for a particular idea to the point where beliefs in the conspiracy become so extreme that they are acceptable regardless of any factual evidence presented to them.
The technological environment has contributed greatly to the spread and relevancy of COVID-19 5G related conspiracies. The online environment serves as a key medium in which information can be quickly transferred, shared, and readily available for users at the click of a button through prominent social media websites like Facebook or Twitter. Anonymity plays a vital role in the spread of information, or in this case, misinformation, due to a lack of accountability associated with posting anonymously without major consequential discipline. Misinformation, such as 5G-related conspiracies, can be spread through forms of rhetoric, such as text or video statements, potentially targeting open-minded individuals with non-aligned identities and individuals who want to reinforce their confirmation bias. In this case, easily accessible information could possibly lead to individuals actively viewing or searching for information which supports their pre-existing notions, beliefs, or values of a particular subject or topic. Additionally, our contemporary society perceives information for face value. Pictures and videos circulate around the internet, and users formulate their thoughts on information that may not necessarily portray the full extent of an event or issue. More information and reliable ways of checking and understanding information are available than ever before, and citizens ought to be, may even be, far better informed than at any time before. Yet good information no longer drives out the bad. And this was a quote from Seaton, Sippitt, and Worthy's article, which best describes the online environment's contributions to the sharing and relevancy of COVID-19 5G conspiracies. We live in a time where vast arrays of knowledge and information is shared continuously online, yet the information we may share, receive, and view may not always be correct or legitimate. In the case of COVID conspiracies, such as 5G technology causing COVID-19 symptoms, this quote puts into perspective the risk of individuals being overexposed to misinformation online, especially since the effort to attempt to put to a halt the spread of such information has proven to be far too great for any individual, organization, or government. To conclude, the action of attempting to stop this misinformation from being posted has completely turned into a competition between valid and illegitimate information being displayed to the online public.
To recap, we discussed the 5G COVID-19 conspiracy theory and its origin, how psychology and politics contributed to the spread of the conspiracy, and how the information environment led to the growth of the theory. Thanks for watching!